It's time for Orchard Skills. IoT camera surveillance is a big business. With Amazon acquiring Ring and Google acquiring Nest, what IoT camera surveillance system is the best? With all the security issues lately in the news, I would say neither. Today on Orchard Skills, we will be connecting a camera to the Raspberry Pi, thus creating an IoT camera surveillance system. We'll also be using Orchard Core CMS to capture and display the image on a web page. Please stay with us and we'll get started. Welcome back. Let's start out by connecting the camera module to the Raspberry Pi. Here you see the Raspberry Pi 4 with the camera module. In order to connect the ribbon cable to the Raspberry Pi, pull the black locking connector up so that the cable can be inserted. Make sure the blue side of the cable is towards the 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Then snugly insert the cable and gently push down on the black locking connector until it locks into place. In a previous video, we added the Orchard Core CMS functionality to the Raspberry Pi IoT web application. Let's start off by cloning that application. With your favorite browser, head over to github.com/orchardskills, orchardskills.orchardcore.content management system. Now let's click on the green code button and open with GitHub's desktop. Then click on Open GitHub Desktop.exe. Okay, click on the clone button. Okay, great. Let's launch Visual Studio. Okay, great. Now let's click on the orchardskills.orchardcore.raspberry Pi project, and let's include the interface to the Raspberry Pi camera. And we'll be utilizing the NuGet package unisquare.raspberrypi.io. Okay, great. Let's save that. Now let's add all the necessary files to create a camera device. So let's click on the device directory and right-click and add new item, and let's create a class, and let's name this class camera device.cs. Okay, great. Okay, we're also going to need a controller for that. So let's go to the controller directory, right click, add new item, and let's add a empty controller, and let's call this camera controller.cs. Okay, great. Then we'll also need a view. So let's head down to the views, click on views, right click, add new folder, and we'll call this camera. Then we'll right click, add, new item, and we'll do a eraser view empty. And we'll call that index.cshtml and hit add. Okay, great. I think that's all the files we need. Let's go to views, camera, index.chhtml, and let's define the HTML to display the capture image. And if the capture image hasn't been captured yet, let's display an image of a camera. And then down here, we'll display some text, Raspberry Pi IoT camera, and also we'll give the status if the image was captured. And then down here, we'll add a button. The button will be called capture image, and with an ASP-action capture image. Now let's go to the camera controller.cs, and here we'll declare our camera controller. So the camera controller will have a camera device, which we haven't defined yet, and so we'll do a dependency injection on the camera device. And then down here in the bag, we'll basically set was image captured by the camera device was image capture property. And then down here on an action result, capture image. This is where we'll have the method. Once the user clicks on capture image, we'll call capture image device, and then redirect to action name of index. Okay, let's head down to the camera device here. Okay, for the camera device, it'll be derived from iDisposable, and we'll have a boolean dispose value equals false, and then we'll have private bool was image captured. We'll set that to false, and then we'll have a property called was image captured, which will be a getter setter, and we'll set that by default false. Then we'll have our class capture image, and so we'll have a try block, and what we'll do is we'll get the current directory. We'll search one directory up, so we'll search for the directory space character. And if the position is greater than 0, which it should be, then we'll set the target path, and that will be stored in the module directory Orchard Skills at orchardcore.raspberry under www.root, under image, and then we'll just take a 640 by 480 capture to be efficient. And we could set that as a parameter in an upcoming video where we can specify what resolution we want to capture the image. And then if the image already exists, we go ahead and delete it, and then we write the data out to the file, and we set was image captured to true. And if we get an exception, we set was image captured to false. And in the final block, we set the property was image captured to the local variable was image captured. And then we do the disposing, and that's it. And now let's head down to the startup, because in the startup, we'll also need to add a singleton capture device. And now let's go to the recipe. That'll be in the Raspberry Pi theme. So click on that. And then here we want to add another menu item for the camera. So let's do that. And so we just do exactly like the relay, but instead the name will be camera, the URL will be camera. When we're thing on the startup, we want to add route stop map area controller route, name camera, area name, orchard skills at orchardcore.raspberry pi, pattern camera, and then defaults new, controller equals camera, action equals index. Okay, great. Here we're at the Raspberry Pi. We just cloned the GitHub repository, pwd, print working directory, ls-la, list the files, cd orchard skills at orchardcore.raspberry pi, IoT camera, ls-la, cd to orchard skills at orchardcore.cms, ls-la. Let's add NuGet add source to the preview feed. Let's do a .NET build. Restoring the NuGet packages. All right, our NuGets are restored and we're building. Continue to build. Okay, great. Now do a .NET run. Okay, we're running. Let's click on localhost 5000. Enter our site name, Orchard Skills. Set our recipe to Raspberry Pi theme, username, sales, email, sales@orchardskills.com, enter password and password confirmation. Press the Finish Setup button. Click on Devices, Camera. There's our camera. Click on Capture Image. And there we go. We captured an image of our monitor. Okay, great. Isn't that slick? Okay, yes. I know, it wasn't that exciting. The captured image was a bit dark, but that's okay. In our next video, we'll be adding capture settings for the camera device. Now to recap, we cloned the Orchard Skills Content Management System GitHub repository from a previous video. We added the capture device along with a view and a controller. We modified the recipe to include the camera device menu. We attached the camera module to the Raspberry Pi. We ran the CMS web application on the Raspberry Pi, and with the camera, we captured a dark image of a computer monitor. Now, if you missed or didn't understand something, that's okay. There's a detailed blog post that describes all the steps. There is also a GitHub repository with the complete source code. All this information is in the video description. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up icon. Also, please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get a notification when I release the next video. Thank you for watching.